We're going to dive into a really profound idea today. The idea that true faith isn't just tested by tough times, but it's actually revealed by them. We're looking at a story where the pressure was so insane, it could have shattered worlds, but instead, it created something absolutely unbreakable.
So let me just ask you this. What if the whole world, literally everyone, stood against you? I mean, imagine every single person, every voice, united against the one truth you hold in your heart. And it doesn't just stop there. It gets worse. You're mocked, you're physically attacked, you're betrayed, and through all of that, you're still told to be gentle. I mean, how is that even possible? Think about pressure so intense it could literally turn mountains to dust. Now, imagine that same pressure being put on a single human heart, and it just doesn't break. What does that tell you about what that heart is made of? See, this isn't some hypothetical thought experiment. These questions, they describe the real lived experience of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. His life is this incredible case study of what faith looks like when it's pushed to the absolute edge. So let's get into this first test, the world against one, because the opposition to his message, it wasn't a slow build. It was an explosion right from the start. From the moment he spoke his truth, the world he knew just turned on him. The second he declared that simple, but for them, radical message, there is no God but God, in a society built on worshiping idols, the pushback was massive. It wasn't just one guy who didn't like him. It was the entire system, social, economic, you name it. And the persecution, wow, it came from every angle. It was physical, people throwing stones at him. It was psychological, being constantly mocked in public. And it was a full-on PR war. Poets, who were like the influencers of their day, were writing poems to completely trash his reputation and leave him all alone. And this right here, this contrast says it all. Society started calling him a liar, a magician, a madman. But before all this, these were the same people who had given him the nickname Al-Amin, which means the trustworthy one. It just shows you their attacks had nothing to do with his character. It was all about the message he was bringing. And here's the heartbreaking part. The pressure wasn't just on him. His followers, the very first people to believe, went through horrific torture. They were dragged across burning sand, crushed with rocks, all for what they believed. Can you imagine the weight on his shoulders, watching his people suffer like that? And in the face of all that, what was his advice to them? Patience. Just be patient. That is what faith revealed under pressure really looks like. You're suffering, the people you love are suffering, but you hold on and you trust the process. You think that's as bad as it could get, right? Nope. The pressure actually got worse. It all came to a head in a single period of time that's literally known as the Year of Sorrow. This was the breaking point. I mean, look at this. It's one gut punch after another. First, his uncle Abu Talib, who was his political protection, dies. Then, almost right after, his wife Khadija, his biggest supporter and source of comfort, she passes away too. So with both of his shields gone, he goes to another city, Ta'if, hoping for help. And what does he get? They mock him and have their kids stone him out of the city. And at this rock-bottom moment, bleeding and totally alone, he makes this prayer. And just listen to the raw honesty here. He's not complaining about God, he's complaining to God. He's just laying it all out there, all his weakness, all his pain. And this is the part that gives me chills. That moment of admitting complete weakness, that wasn't a failure of faith. It was the absolute peak of it. It was him saying, I have no strength left, and putting his trust 100% completely in God. And it was right there, in that moment of total surrender, that everything changed. After every single door on earth slammed shut in his face, a door in the heavens swung wide open. You see this incredible pivot happen. The world's rejection becomes the very reason for his divine elevation. And all that intense pain he felt got channeled into the most direct and intimate form of prayer imaginable. And this is what leads to the Isra and Mi'raj, his miraculous night journey and his ascension into the heavens. It's such a powerful principle, right? When he was at his lowest point on earth, he was honored in the heavens. When all your worldly support vanishes, that's when divine support can show up. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you start to see something really beautiful.
The pressure, it wasn't just random suffering. All of that pain, it had a purpose. It was all preparation. Preparation for what, you ask? Well, for everything that came next. Those years of hardship forged a leader with unbreakable patience. That intense pressure was like a fire, shaping him for the kind of leadership he would need to build a community and, eventually, change the entire world. Okay, so what's the takeaway for us? What does this story from 1400 years ago have to say to you and me, right here, right now? Look, maybe you're the one feeling under pressure today. Maybe life just feels deeply unfair, or your heart is just heavy. You feel misunderstood, alone, carrying something that just feels like too much. If that's you, I just want you to remember this story. The person considered the most beloved to God wasn't spared from pain. In fact, pain was the very road he had to walk to get to victory. It's not always a sign you've been abandoned. Sometimes it's the path itself. And that brings us right back to where we started. Your faith isn't proven when things are easy and everything's going your way. Your faith is revealed when you're under pressure. Those tough moments show you and the world what you're really made of. So the real question for all of us is, what is the pressure in your life revealing about you?